So hello everybody, welcome to this lecture, Grandmaster Choice. My name is Pepe Cuenca and I'm very glad to be here with all of you. And today we're gonna see a game that I played recently in the Iberoamerican Championship. In this tournament, people from South America, Central America, and Spain and Portugal compete. It was a really important moment because we are in round number 7. And then I'm facing Jorge Cori, who was number 1 in this tournament. He's almost 2,700, so we were in board number 2, so I had a great opportunity to score and then to stay in the lead. And anybody of you knows Jorge Cori?
He used to stay here.
Sorry?
He was here like a couple of months ago.
He was here, okay. Yeah, so he is really talented. So he and his sister, Daisy Cori, she is the number 1 of Peru. He is the number 1 of Peru. And he was actually studying in the States, I think, with one of these good scholarships. Yeah, the game is extremely complex. So let's take a look on that. So I had the white pieces and I wanted to play aggressively. So I decided to go for e4, and then Jorge replied with e6. So this is the French defense, exactly. So d4, d5, and knight c3. As you guys know, there are many possibilities here. So the advanced variation, knight d2, you know how this is called? The Tarrasch, exactly. Or bishop d3. This is a funny move, but it's very interesting. I recorded a video series about this move, bishop d3, and it's very tricky, and then you can surprise a lot your opponents. So knight c3, I decide to go, and here there are 3 main options, let's say. So d takes c4, knight f6, going for the classical French, or bishop b4, and this is one of the most complicated openings. Do you know how this is called after bishop b4? You said? Yeah, the winnower, yeah? And it's extremely complicated because after e5, c5, a3, normally black takes on c3, b takes c3, and the structure is very, very difficult to understand. So white has double pawns on the c file, and then if you don't manage to play dynamically, then in most of endgames you could suffer here on the c file. So after knight c3, Jorge decided to go for knight f6, and here again 2 main options, or 3. So bishop g5 is one of them, e5, and also e takes d5. E takes d5 is not really aggressive. So I decided to go for e5, forcing black's knight to go to d7. And then what will you play here with the white pieces? Yes?
F4.
F4, why?
I know that's the main line.
Yeah, that's the main line, but there's a reason behind, right? Because black wants to break with c5, and then this pawn chain could be really unstable. Mostly the pawn on e5, right? So let's say you play something like bishop e2, then after c5, you could be already in trouble. Because if you take on c5, then this pawn is hanging on e5, this central pawn, and the central pawns are really important. This will mostly fall as well. So that's why you have to reinforce the pawn chain in the center. That's why everybody plays here f4. So c5, knight f3, now there's no trouble with this e5 pawn, right?
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Is bishop c4 playable?
Bishop c4.
Or yeah, instead of like the pawn f4.
Bishop f4, you mean?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, bishop f4 is a natural move, but then after c5 again, this pawn is going to suffer a lot. There's going to be a lot of pressure, for example, with knight c6, and then black has some ideas even with g5, and then attacking this bishop. But then it's better just to protect this pawn with f4, because now this pawn is going to be anyway under attack after knight c6, right? So that's why f4 is really, really important in this position. You can also play knight c2, e2. This is another move. And after c5, you play c3. But anyway, you will love to go f4 in the next move. So f4, yes, please don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. This way will be more fun, okay? So c5, knight f3, knight c6, and bishop e3, protecting d4. And now there are many, many possibilities here for black. So queen b6 is a direct attempt. Attacking b2 is one of them. a6 in order to go b5 is another option for black. As I said, queen b6, also c takes d4, followed by bishop c5. But then Jorge decided to go for bishop e7, a really natural move, developing. You want to go short castle in the next move, right? I went for queen d2, and now short castle. And one question for you guys. What would you play here with white? Yes?
I see two moves. Long castle and bishop e2.
Bishop e2. It's a decent move. Short, long castle. It's a natural move, but it's a bad move. And I already suffered one loss after this long castle. I didn't know the theory at that time. I was in the Portuguese league, like back in 2007 or something like that, 12 years ago. I was an IM that time, and I was facing Mateusz Bartel. He's a 2600 player from Poland. He's really strong. And then I didn't know that this was a bad move. You know the reason? Why is this so bad? C4, exactly. Now black closes the position, and then b5 is coming straight away. If you take this pawn on b5 later, you're going to suffer the consequences. So long castle is not a very good idea. That's why if you want to go long castle, you have to do something in advance. So if you want to go long castle, exactly, take the pawn first, d takes c5, and then in the next move, then long castle is possible. There are two ways of recapturing this with black pieces now. You can take with the bishop, you can take with the knight, even queen a5 is an interesting move. But okay, he decided to take with the knight, Jorge, and then I went long castle in this position. And these positions are extremely fun to play because kings are on opposite flanks, right? So white is going to try to start an attack on the king side, and then black is going to do the same on the queen side by playing a6, b5, using the c file later because there is an open file, semi-open file over there. So that's why Jorge goes for a6. And here I tried to follow an idea from one of your compatriots, Sham Shankland. In one of his games, he went h4. And this is what I repeated here. The idea is rather simple. You want to go, in some positions, you want to push this pawn to h5 and h6. There are some other lines where you are aiming to go bishop d3 and then this sacrifice on h7. You know how this sacrifice on h7 is called?
Greek.
Exactly, the Greek gift. So basically, you want to take on h7 and then go knight g5, right? So Jorge went for b5, and then I went for bishop d3. And one of the things is that actually Jorge had played this same position 2 weeks before this game against Peter Leko. You know Peter Leko? He's a really strong super grandmaster from Hungary. And in that game, Jorge took on d3. And this is what I had prepared for the game. Knight takes e3, queen takes e3, and then queen b4. You gotta play here knight b4, because otherwise white's playing knight g5, and then you are forcing black to play g6, and then you can break with h5, and then that looks terrible for black, right? So that game against Leko continued in the following game. Knight b4, queen d2, bishop e7, king b1, rook c8, f5, and then this was a real mess. Actually, Jorge ended up losing this game against Peter Leko in Biel in July this year, 2019. But instead, Jorge played extremely fast. In less than 10 seconds, went for this move, knight b4. And then I was thinking, you know what? I didn't prepare for this line. So I was checking like 2-3 options from the engine, and none of them were knight b4. But this has to be his preparation, right? Because he played this same game against Peter Leko and he lost that game. So I thought, okay, he must have prepared this line with black, right? But no, it was a bluff. So actually, it's a losing move. But you know how important is psychology in chess? Like I was so scared because I knew that bishop h7 had to be a strong move. But I couldn't believe that Jorge didn't prepare for this game. After having played this same position 2 weeks before and losing against Peter Leko. So what do you think about bishop h7? Of course, I was calculating here for 40 minutes. 40 minutes. 40 minutes, yeah. Until here, I was in my preparation, of course. But here, I had to think. Do I sacrifice on h7? I mean, I have all my pieces perfectly placed for this Greek gift. I can take on h7 and then play knight g5, but is that winning or not? Let's see if you guys can calculate the same things I calculated in my game. At the end, I didn't play bishop h7. I went for king b1, a solid move.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, king b1 is the other option, right? But, so what do we do? Do we take on h7? And if we take, why? And where are the lines behind? So, can you calculate something? Let's calculate together.
I see
So,
a line.
sorry?
I see a line.
So, tell me.
Bishop h7, king h7, knight g5,
Yes?
king g8,
Yes?
bishop c5,
Yeah?
bishop c5, and a3.
Okay, so this is one of the lines I saw in the game. So bishop h7, king takes, knight g5, king g8. Of course, taking with the bishop is just suicide, right? So let's say here, and then you have many moves. For example, queen e2, even g4 should be winning for queen h2. But okay, king g8 is the most natural move, and then you would like to go queen d3, right? At this point. But then there are two knights here, so you said, okay, I'm gonna remove this guy, and then play a3, and then how about knight c6? Queen d3, this is the line that I saw, and g6. And now what do we play? h5, and then I was checking this line in the game, knight e5,
Queen h2.
queen h3, okay. And what did I see here? I was thinking about king g7. And then if you take on g6, then rook h8. And looks like black is holding, right?
Hard to believe.
Hard to believe, but I'm a piece down. So we have to find something concrete. Otherwise,
Knight e4,
knight e4? Which knight?
knight c.
Knight c to e4? Okay, I'll just go bishop e7. And then? It smells good for white. But if you don't see anything concrete, would you go for that? If you don't see checkmate? But there is actually one line which is much, much better for white. Yeah, Dennis saw it, yeah? Okay, the line is the following one. So king g8, and now there is a better move. Can you find it? Instead of a3, bishop takes c5, a3, a more direct approach against black skin. Yes? Perfect. Now, you saw the move, queen e2, and then of course white's threat is rather simple. You want to go queen h5 and checkmate, so the only move is g6 and now h5. And then I also checked this line during the game, but to be honest, I was 99% of the time calculating bishop c5 and a3 as you did here. But this line is completely winning for white, because your plan is extremely simple now, and black has to pay attention to this knight on c5 that now is hanging because he had to take on g5. Basically, let's say if you play something like queen c7, how do we win? Takes, and now? Queen g4 is interesting, but this plan is very, very simple and effective and just wins the game. So I had a really good chance. Round number 7 out of 9, I'm facing number 1 of the tournament, board 2, and then the guy just blunders. Bishop h7.
Did he saw that, or was just a bluff?
No, I think he thought that's one line he prepared some months ago. So he thought he could play this. But then probably he realized that bishop h7 was winning as well. But I didn't go for bishop h7. And then, you know how I felt like, and there were Spanish broadcasts and there were people following me, and then you start to think, okay, now if I don't play bishop h7, they will say, come on, this guy is too bad, he's not brave enough. So should I go for bishop h7 even if it doesn't work? But if I go for bishop h7 and then it doesn't work, they will think I'm stupid. So finally I didn't go for this, and I went king b1. right? I lost my chance to get a winning position in move number 13 against a 2700. Okay, but the game continues, yeah? And you're gonna see that the game becomes extremely complex. So he goes for knight takes b3. Now he realizes the danger of this bishop. And then c takes e3 and b4. How would you play now with the white pieces? You go knight e2, or is there any other option here for you? There are two options basically here. Only two moves where you don't blunder something. Exactly. That's a really interesting approach, taking on c5. I went for knight e2 because I thought, okay, let's see who arrives first. I thought knight e2, then I'm gonna put this knight on d4, and then I'm gonna start a pawn storm on the king side with g4, f5, and then of course he's gonna try to do something on the queen side with a5, a4, even b3. But this approach was extremely interesting too. Bishop takes c5, bishop takes c5, and now knight e2. No, if you go knight a4, exactly, knight a4, and now play d4. This was the other option, which was very interesting because you got the c file, then you can put a knight on c5, and then you are not giving up on the king side. You can still play g4, f5 ideas, h5, g5, etc., etc. But okay, I finally decide to go for knight e2. So black develops finally this bishop to d7, and then I went g4. Rook c8 from Jorge, and I played knight e to d4. This square, oh sorry guys, this square is extremely tasty for this knight, right? You are aiming to go f5 in the next move. So basically, black has to do something quickly. Otherwise, this attack is going to be extremely strong. After f5, there are many f6 ideas, trying to open up, to blow up the position here. So that's why Jorge tried b3. And now it's another important moment. Do I take the pawn on b3? Do I close with a3? What would you do? You got 5 seconds in the clock. Sorry? A3. I think that's a little bit better than what I did because I just took this pawn. I was so hungry. But A3 is actually pretty interesting. There are many possibilities for black here. Black could go bishop b5, attacking d3. And then if you take on b5, then there's this b4 break. Also, there are many sacrificing ideas. Knight a4 followed by knight b2. And then a3 will hang. But anyway, I decided to take with knight takes b3. Knight takes b3, knight takes b3, pawn takes b3, and a5. And now you see Jorge's idea. He just wants to play f4 and then open these two lines. And it looks extremely, extremely dangerous for me. So I needed to hurry up as well. And I decided to go for a pawn sacrifice here, f5, which Jorge didn't accept. He was scared. And he went for bishop f4. Let's try to see what happens if Jorge takes on f5. When we analyze the game later, he said he was afraid of knight d4, bishop g4, rook g1, h5, and rook takes g4 followed by h5. And then he thought this was much better for white. It is not. The engine says black is much better. But it looks scary, right? I was thinking about other moves too. After e takes, g takes, bishop takes f5, I was thinking about queen g2, for example, in order to stop bishop g4 and then try to push with h5. Also, h5 straight away was really interesting. So what I mean is there are many, many attacking ideas here for both sides, so anything could happen. But instead, after f5, he decided to go for bishop f4, attacking the queen, and I went for queen f2. I think this was the best square because I'm supporting the f5 pawn. I'm also in many, many positions aiming to go bishop b6. So forcing this queen to go to a more passive square like e7 or e8. And he went for queen c7. If he goes a4, I think white could just go bishop b6, queen e7, and now f6. These ideas are very, very dangerous for black. Let's say black takes, and for example, queen d4. If you take knight takes e4, you are aiming to go g5, knight g4, knight h6 checkmate, and it's not easy to create counterplay for black here. So that's why he went queen c7. Now bishop b6 doesn't make any sense. And f6, we're almost there. So now, another important moment for black. If black goes with g6, there will be a lot of attacking ideas with queen h6 at some point. Also h5, trying to open up this h file. So that's why Jorge wanted to hurry up as well. You see, this is like a horse race. Both running like beasts in every flank and see who is arriving first. So a4, what do we play here? Rook? Rook c1 is an interesting move. Any other option? I mean, what's the most natural move here? Knight d4 and take the pawn, right? We take the pawn, attacking the rook, and then if black takes on g7, it's going to be extremely exposed, right? So that's why after f takes g7, Jorge decided to play rook f to e8. So maybe he thinks this king is a little bit more safer if he doesn't take the pawn on g7. And of course, could be, but then there are also different attacking ideas. So how do we play now with the white pieces? The most direct approach. Knight g5, right? Attack f7, and Jorge went for rook e7. If black plays bishop b5 to protect the pawn with the queen, then we could just take the pawn and rook c1, deviation. The queen has to protect f7. Let's say queen b7, and now there's a brilliant move here. Go for it.
Knight 7, queen f4.
Exactly.
Queen f6.
Queen f6, exactly. This is really strong. Knight h7. And if black takes, then queen f6, followed by queen h6 and queen h8. Checkmate. So that's why Jorge, after knight g5, he had to protect that pawn with rook e7. And then, now it's not that simple. Knight h7. Why? Because, where did I go? We are here. Rook e7. Now if you take on h7, then black can just play a takes b3.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you like queen f6?
When? Here?
Yeah, knight queen f6.
Queen f6 here, I think I'm gonna mate you in two moves with queen c2, king a1, and a takes b3.
Yeah.
And then there is rook a8, checkmate. You see, now black is also very, very fast in this position, so we gotta be careful.
Yeah, let's see one.
Yeah. This is what I played actually in the game. I went for rook c1, so there are no more queen c2 ideas. And if I take on h7, then a takes b3, and then black is threatening the same stuff, queen c2. So that's why after rook e7, I went rook c1 attacking the queen. So queen a5 was played, and then I decided to trade rooks, so one less rook, and b takes a4. And I thought, okay, I think I'm doing fine, because he's still far away from checkmating me, and then my plan is rather simple, as you say. Queen f6, queen h6, queen h7, also these knight h7 ideas. So for example, if black takes on a4, then knight h7, king takes h7, queen f6 just wins. And if he goes for rook a7, then knight f6, king g7. Exactly. So black can't take because there is mate, right? He goes to h8. Bishop g7, I just take it, right? Knight h5, and then king f8. Then we're running out of moves.
Okay.
So rook a7, check. Bishop h6.
Maybe.
Why bishop h6? Why you don't take the rook on a7? Right? There's bishop a7. So that's why rook a7 was not even possible. So if black goes bishop a6 here, then the line you were suggesting. So bishop h6, if king h8, you can just play queen c2, and then white is too many pawns up. But okay, Jorge says, you know what, I'm not going to take on a4. I'm going to play prophylactically against your knight h7 or queen f6. Let's see if you see the same move as Jorge played in the game. So how do we stop knight h7 or queen f6? Sorry? h6, I'm not so sure you're stopping that, because you can still go knight h7, right? And there's no difference, actually. No, an active move. Sorry?
Queen a6.
Queen a6, that's an idea, but even better, bishop a6. This bishop is really passive here, so bishop a6 was a really strong move from Jorge. Because now if knight h7, just bishop d3, and then you can always take this knight. If queen f6, there is bishop d3, and this king is going to get checkmated. So I went queen c2 here, protecting everything, protecting a4 and d3. And what am I threatening now with the white pieces? D4. That's a really huge threat. You want to play d4 and then queen h7 checkmate. And at this point, we both had like 1 minute in the clock. You see, in this championship, you play with 90 minutes plus 30 seconds for every move. So we were in real time trouble already, because the position, the game has been extremely complex, right? And then, so we were running out of time. So Jorge plays d4, a move that I didn't see, and then I have 40 seconds in the clock. What would you do with 40 seconds? You got 37 already. You take it, yeah? And then we'll lose the game. How? Let's see if you guys find out the solution. Exactly. Queen d5, double attack. Simple. This, and we have to resign. So that's why I couldn't take it. And at this point, there was a really beautiful move that I couldn't find. I mean, I went bishop f4, so just trying to keep my options there, so not blundering anything, but there is a really beautiful move that wins the game for white here. I couldn't believe it when I saw it later. Of course, we didn't see this, not him, not me, but we just saw it later with the engines, yeah? It's just a beautiful combination. So, can you guys see? Queen c8? No, right?
Good combination for the opponent.
Let's not blunder our queens. So, no bishop d4, no bishop f4, no queen c8. Can we just ignore the threat of d takes e3? I don't know. Can we improve knight h7? I think I can just take now your knight, right? There's no queen f6 now. It's extremely beautiful.
If you wouldn't take my bishop, then I'll play.
Sorry?
If you wouldn't take my bishop, then I'll play knight e4.
Knight e4.
But if you didn't take my bishop.
But actually, knight e4 is the winning move. You see why now?
I don't see what if you take.
Knight e4, d takes e3, and forcing moves. Knight f6, king takes g7, and no, almost.
Knight
D4.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, d4.
This was a brilliant idea. So knight e4 wins the game. Of course, white's threat is to go bishop h6, followed by knight f6, checkmate. But if d takes e3, there is knight f6, forcing black's king to take on g7, and now d4. And suddenly this queen is coming to h7, and it's going to be checkmate.
Oh wow.
So knight e4 was a really beautiful combination. But of course, I mean, even if I have 40 minutes in the clock, probably I wouldn't see it. So imagine with 30 seconds. After d4, yeah, it's so moved. I was all the time calculating rook c7, and then trying to see what happens after queen d1, stuff like that. But then he suddenly pushes d4, and then you got 30 seconds here, and you just are able to see that bishop d4 just loses on the spot because of queen d5. So I went bishop f4 here, at this point,
Position looks still okay.
looks still okay, right? So how would you play now with black?
Bishop B7.
Queen, bishop?
B7.
B7. Okay. Let's see. This is interesting, but how about if I just play rook C1 now? Or I could even, sorry?
I was gonna say rook C8. No, rook E8.
Rook E8. And then I just go, for example, knight E4.
Take it.
You want to take it, I'll take back. And this looks okay for white. I mean,
Queen, rook A8.
rook A8, you want to take this guy here. I'm not so sure you are even able to take it because after queen takes, rook C4, there is a pin over there. So you are not threatening anything in this position.
H6.
Or even bishop H6, as you say, so you have a lot of background problems. Bishop H6 actually is threatening queen C8, winning the game on the spot. So, no. And so what do we play? Of course, our threat with the white pieces is to go knight E4, and then bishop H6 and knight F6 checkmate, right?
Yeah.
So,
Maybe rook C7, then bishop B7. Yeah, first good.
rook C7, this is what Jorge played in the game, which is the most natural move. So just bring the rook to the open file, attacking the queen. And now if I go queen B3, then rook B7, and then the threat is to go bishop C3. So that's why I went to D1. And here it's an important moment again. And this is where Jorge showed his super class, his 2,700 rating points, with an only move here for black. Because now it looks like I have everything protected. Right? A4 is protected, D3 is protected, and my plan is rather simple. I want to go knight E4, as we were saying, and then some knight F6 or bishop H6 ideas. You said you wanted to go bishop B7, but then knight E4. And we are in the same kind of position that we were looking before, right? Yeah, you have to take it, and then D takes E4,
Bishop C3.
bishop C3, yes, but then I think I can always go rook H2. This rook is doing a fantastic job over here, and of course, it's not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of job to do here, but and I'm not even sure. Okay, I think I can take this guy, or I can. No, I don't think so. But okay, so this is fine for white, at least. So something comes out to your minds after queen D1. Rook A7, you want to go bishop B5 here. That sounds nice. So after knight E4, you want to go bishop B5, right? And then how about if I just, let's say, bishop H6? Bishop E7. Very interesting, your rook A7. Let's try to think all together. So rook A7. I didn't think about this move before. Rook A7, and now, so. Can we go queen F3? Wow, I just saw a beautiful line.
Yeah, let's see. Knight H.
Look at this line. So queen F3, queen A4, and then I was thinking about queen E4. But it's not possible. Why? Bishop D3, queen takes D3, queen A1, king C2, and
Oh, that's queen A1.
look at this move.
Queen A1.
Boom. King A1, and now
Bishop D3.
Bishop D3, checkmate. Wow, so this rook A7 is a fantastic suggestion. Let's try to think. It's not working for some reason, but because I remember that the engine was given another option, and it was the only one, but then we have to find the solution.
Does knight h7 work? King h7, g5?
G5, could be. Knight H7, but I'm not so sure because now you can play Bishop B5,
Knight f6 check.
King G7. Not so easy, right? Let's think a little bit all together. Rook A7.
I think I know what. So can you go knight h7?
Yes?
Bishop b5, knight. Bishop b5, knight f6.
Yes?
King g7, bishop h6. Oh,
Yeah. Now King H8, right? But then this could be even possible. I don't know.
King c1.
Queen C1. Yeah, Queen C1. And if you take, no, you take on D3. We gotta be careful here. You take on D3 and then white is completely losing. I wanted to go Queen C2 in order to go Queen C8. But then I think you can just go Rook C8 or something like that, right? So Rook A7, very, very interesting. Let's see. So let's think. Can I go Queen C2 maybe? I could probably go Queen C2. And then if you play Bishop B5, there is Queen C8, King H7, and then H5 or something like that. Right? So the best move is not, yes, tell me.
So after rook a7,
Yeah?
queen c2.
Yes.
I go bishop,
Queen
queen a4.
A4?
And then bishop d3.
Yeah, Queen A4, Bishop D3, I just go Queen C2. Right? And then white's a piece up. After bishop takes, king takes. So, yeah, tell me.
Oh, I thought queen c2, rook c7, queen d1, but that's the same position.
Yeah, that's the same position. It's a draw, yeah? So here, there's a better move. It's a crazy move. When I saw it, and then when he played it, and then I had 30 seconds again, I wanted to cry. I wanted to run.
Was it actually lost? This is lost for you?
No, it's quite okay for white. It's actually 0.00 according to the engine, with the move that he found.
How much time he had?
Sorry?
How much time?
Both we had like 30 seconds each. And he is a super class player, yeah. Almost he is like number 60 in the world or 70 in the world, something like that. So he found this move. Boom. Bishop B5. And then you see this move, and then you had to move something in 30 seconds. What do you move? First, I couldn't understand anything. Yeah? Yes?
With B5.
I takes the b5.
You take the B5 bishop.
Yes.
And then after rook A7, this is what actually happened in the game. And black is threatening to go queen A2 and rook C7, right? And then my king hasn't got a room after king C2. So it looks like checkmate. So you were thinking about other moves instead of taking on B5? Yes?
So I sometimes so even though I want the bishop, now I realize that it's going to be a big problem because
Yes. Exactly. You are right. If we take the bishop after rook A7, white is going to be, or looks like white is in trouble. Maybe not. I don't know. What do you think? Would you play something different from A takes B5 here? I mean, black is just taking on A4 and then bishop C2, and then I have to resign. And then if I play B3 or something like this, I think black can just take on A4, and then this looks like completely winning too for black. Queen B4 is coming, rook B7, etc. So what do we play then? I mean, to be honest, I had just 2 seconds in the clock, and then I just took the bishop. Yeah, so I had to do something, and I took the bishop. And then after rook a7, and again, I have 30 seconds in the clock, and there's only one move who saves the game for white here. Now, you know what's the threat.
Is it 94?
94? No, because queen a2 and rook c7, and
Oh, yeah,
boom!
okay, not 94.
Okay,
Queen B3.
sorry?
Queen B3.
Queen b3. Queen b3, then queen a1 check, king c2, and rook c7. And same problem. We have no room for our king. No. I played queen f3 because I thought his only chance was to go queen a2, king c2, rook c7, and then I wanted to go queen c6 and try to hold that. Maybe I have some chances, a rook and a piece and a pawn for the queen. My king is in a pretty bad position, but okay. But there is even, after queen f3, there is a really beautiful line that I'm going to show you. But there is one good move here for white.
Good move.
What's the only move that stops rook c7?
96.
Okay, yes, or putting your hand on c7, yeah? Knight e6 doesn't work because of f takes e6, and we're in the same situation but with a piece down, yeah? And then we have to find the same solution but without the knight. Yes?
Queen c2.
Queen c2. Okay, that stops rook c7, but then this is checkmating one move, queen a1, right? Checkmate. And then we have to go and take a shower. So after rook a7, there's one simple move who stops c7. b6.
Oh, queen c2.
That's a solution. b6. Because now, if black goes queen a1, king c2, there is no check on c7.
What if we take it?
If you take it now, that's a different story. If you take the b6 pawn, then you are not threatening anything right now. And then I have a really important tempo to put my pieces in a better place, right? For example, queen b3, and then I think white's winning. Let's say you go back to queen a5. I could even go rook c1, queen a1, king c2, and then king d1, and white is winning. So no, b6. After b6, there is only one good move for black.
You're funny, like, okay.
Rook a8, this is a very good try for black because you are threatening the same stuff, rook c8. And then you gotta go b7, and now there's only one good line for black here to save the game, to force the draw. Queen?
Queen a1 and then queen a4.
Exactly. Queen a1 or queen a2
Yeah.
and queen a4. And then you have to go for the triple repetition because if you go b3, there's queen a2, and then after king c1, bishop a3, checkmate. So that's why here this would have been a triple repetition. But instead, I thought I could be smart and play queen f3. But then there is a beautiful line who finishes the game for black. So I'm going to give you a hint. This king will end up on b8. And then after two moves, I saw that my king was going to end up on b8. But then when somebody finds a beautiful combination, you have to show respect, yeah? And then you have to allow your opponent to checkmate you in a beautiful way. So find a way.
Oh yeah. Queen a1, king c2,
Yeah?
rook c7,
Yeah?
king b3,
Yeah?
rook c3,
Great. You saw it.
d.
Okay, so this is the line. Because I thought, okay, he went queen a1, king c2, rook c7, king b3, and I thought, okay, I'm winning. What is he gonna do? I mean, he has no checks. Rook c3, that cannot work, come on. Rook c3, I just take the bishop and then my king will run away, will escape. And then I'm threatening all the time queen e4, queen a8 checkmate. But this is crushing, this rook c3. Can I take the rook?
No.
Why?
Take on.
And then king a2?
No, queen 8. No, yeah.
So, can I take?
Yes.
Yes? I mean, it's legal, yeah? It's legal.
Yeah, take on c3. King a2, queen c2.
Yeah, exactly. Queen takes c3, king a2, queen c2, king a1, and bishop c3 checkmate. So I can take this rook. So what's the only move?
King b4.
King b4. And then I want, son of you, to give me the whole line. I know, yes?
Queen takes b2.
King a5.
And then rook takes b6.
Yeah, king b6.
And then
Huh, not that easy. Not that easy, right?
I see a way.
You see a way? You see a way too? Yes, back there.
queen a3.
Yes, king b6.
And king. And then king.
King b6. And then keep checking me.
Queen a3.
Yeah, so we are here. Queen b2, king a5. And now you said queen a3, right? King b6. There's only one good check for you now there. What's that check? Yes?
Queen c5.
Exactly. And then king a6.
And then queen to c. And then queen to c8.
Yeah, and then queen c8. Then I escape back to a5. You had me almost. After queen c5 check, king a6, there is one better move. Sorry for all the arrows. Yeah, I know it's a mess.
Queen c7.
Queen c7 is not a check. My king is on a6. It's very important in chess to try to calculate everything in your mind without moving the pieces. So, okay, the checkmate is like that. Queen a3, king b6, queen c5, king a6. And now, yes,
Rook a3.
perfect. Rook a3, king b7. Now checkmate in two moves.
And then rook to a7.
Perfect. And then king b8.
I'll queen to c7.
Awesome. Great. You checkmated me. So this is the way the game finished. Remember, this king started on e1, was very happy here, and now it ended up on b8. So you saw this was a crazy game. I had a lot of opportunities. I had this first opportunity with bishop h7. Then I had a second chance with this difficult line with knight e4. And then he really impressed me with these moves, bishop b5 and then rook c3. So yeah, this concludes this lecture. We're gonna make a short break before starting the second lecture, where we're gonna see Vichy Anand's Lost in the Grand Swiss of FIDE, which is taking place in Isle of Man in Great Britain. Okay, thank you very much for coming.